heard a little bit about that you were at the roots of Second City in Chicago with such people as Alan Alda, Alan Arkin, Mike Nichols, Elaine May, and Shelley Berman.
Right.
And so that started back in the 50s when no one knew anything about improv. Why were you a part of that group? What's the roots?
Well, what happened was I was in Bombay, and I decided the next thing I wanted to do was revolutionize the American theater, which means all theater. And so I went back to New York and traveled to Chicago and found a group of people who wanted to do repertory. And so I stayed with them, financed them, and finally got them to go down to Hyde Park in Chicago and do a new kind of theater.
Okay, so that new kind of theater you eventually called improv, and that really revolutionized. No one had ever had that before. So you did that for a long time with many evolutions that went into improv games in Canada, and now almost every high school has an improv theater troupe. Even elementary school kids are doing improv games. We all know about it, like Rona said. But how does your current evolution of improv, how did life play that you're going to speak about today, how did that evolve?
Well, first of all, I want to make it clear that I am not the father of improvisation. The father of improvisation is Paul Sills, and the mother of improvisation is his mother, Viola Spolin. I am the uncle of improvisation.
Viola Spolin, right, and her son was Paul Sills. Okay, here's the uncle. Okay, uncle. Then how did you come about to have something called Life Play, which is different than the live kind of improv theater? It's done over the phone. Can you tell about how you came about wanting to do a phone-centered improv?
Well, it just happened naturally. I became sedentary and I didn't run around starting groups in different cities. And what I found on my hands was a man named Carmen DeWeese in Boston, a man named Chris Britt in San Francisco, and myself in Pioneer Valley. And how were we connected? By phone! How do you like that? So these two guys were magicians who were looking for an improvisational format, and so was I. So we did it. And people moved in from all over the world to do it with us. Sometimes we'd have a dozen people in the company. Sometimes we'd have only 4 or 5. But in any case, it's continuing. And right now, it's being run by my old friend, Howard Jerome Gomberg in Toronto. And he is looking forward to finding the financial backing to make this happen all over the world, wherever they speak English, including Australia and the British Isles. That's what we're working on now.
So basically, when I have thinking about, well, who can play, it's not just people who are theater people, then anyone who has access to a telephone could play and be able to tune into a meeting. How does that meeting happen of playing? How does that happen?
Well, we have a phone number, which I'm not going to give you. First of all, I would like to train you.
Okay. So
now, I don't know whether I'm allowed to give my telephone number or not.
I think people can find that in a different manner, yeah.
Okay.
So,
well, in any case,
yeah.
You call me up, I'll give you a half an hour free training. And then I'll give you the telephone number that you can use to call in either on Sunday at 5 o'clock or Wednesday at 7:30 and play.
So basically, anyone can play, all ages, all abilities, from any location where a phone works. And No particular talent because you would be the guide or someone is the guide on this? There's a guide in the process?
You don't need talent.
Oh, okay.
You just need yourself.
Just yourself.
And what happens is you learn more about yourself. You open up. It's like a clam opening up.
Okay. So that's some of the benefits. Do you think that, is this a good time to show how some of these games work?
I wish you would.
Okay. We've got a couple of people that are going to come up. Nancy Fletcher is going to come up on stage, and we prior asked an audience member to come up on stage. And David, you'll act as our guide, and I'll go on stage. We've got Ankrish, what's your last name, Ankrish? Milne. And I'll go up, and David, you're going to guide us through emo pitch,
Okay.
four-sided wear, and believe it.
All right.
So we're right behind you.
I hope I remember.
There you go.
Okay. Before we get into the games, we like to warm up. And I'd like to show you one of the warm-ups. It's called emo pitch. And to do this, we need to have from the audience a one-worded, strong emotion. Love. What? Love. Oh, wow. How interesting.
Okay, so emo pitch with love.
Yeah. All
That's
right, now.
describe it.
What I'm going to ask the players to do is, first of all, I begin to forget these games that I've invented.
Gibberish?
First of all, speak about love in gibberish. Thank you very much. And then talk about it fast, and then sing it. Okay, here we go.
Oh, jibba ja jabba ja. Oh, la ba da ga ba. Oh, jibba. Oh, jibba jibba la la so bo ja. Oh, jibba. Oh, love in my heart is overwhelmed and overflowing to the nth and the nines. Over the mountain and over the hills and through the woods we go. For love, for love, for love. Forever and ever. Period.
Now, I do believe that woman is now warmed up. Okay, it says here on this piece of paper, we're now going to do four-sided wear, which is an old game. You're placed in a department store or a trench in Afghanistan or whatever, and you describe what's in front of you, behind you, to the right and the left. All right? Now we're going to try this. We need, from the audience, I believe, a where?
Here, why don't we move over a little bit? So we
A place. An interesting place.
you can stand there if you want.
Walmart. Thank you. Very good. Yeah.
Walmart.
Okay.
You describe.
We'll be telling Walmart that we're thinking about them even now here in Shelburne Falls.
In front of you, what's in front of you, what's behind you, what's on each side.
Okay.
All right.
So in front of me, I see a man restocking tomatoes in the produce aisle. Behind me, I see a bakery with a lot of delicious but sugary and probably pretty unhealthy goods.
Yeah. And describe it more, please.
These
With
good-
feeling.
With feeling. Okay, so these goods, they're frosted with chocolate and creamy and tasty and delicious and gooey. And,
Oh.
and the tomatoes look a little bit disgusting.
Right.
Okay, on the sides, one
We
side
have
to
to,
the
have
other.
to go to the
Okay,
next.
on my left, I see toy bikes. Toy bikes. They're for little kids. And on my right side, I see bread, the bakery section.
Period.
Period.
Okay.
Right.
And so the last one, believe it.
Believe it. Now, you're going to give the player a topic, and we'll see what happens after that.
Presidential politics.
Huh?
Presidential politics.
Presidential politics. That's complex, but we'll accept it.
Don't you want to describe what the challenge is?
So that is the challenge that you speak the opposite of what you believe? Okay. So
Well,
in believe
we'll,
it.
We'll see what happens, and we're going to ask at the end, what do you really believe? Go for it.
This is the most exciting time. I mean, we got to be in this campaign for so long, but it wasn't enough. I think we should really have a 10-year point, because it galvanizes everybody, and they're really involved, and there's so much money being spent, and this is really energizing the economy, and I love the emotions that come out, and the evil that comes, and the negative emotions. You see the whole range. It's really great to see the whole country divided. Don't you think? Period.
Now, what do you really believe?
I think the presidential politics is disgusting the way it's conducted.
Thank you. And so David, just to put a cap on this, the over the phone, being over the phone, is that some kind, we're not on the phone. We're doing it in front of an audience, but over the phone doing these games, what is just kind of a pearl of why this is a really special form?
Well, because it can bring people from all over, examining themselves and growing all the time. That's what I've found doing this.
Great. Thank you, David Shepard.